was trying to save the Earth itself. Hennick was having to decide whether the fight was worth losing people for. Torren was having to decide what he was willing to lose and whether he would sacrifice himself. Sebastian was diving into knowledge at the cost of his life to protect the world, and Chiavo was becoming a book.
It was the one where we got the hither to the staff. It was that way of the path.
No, it was the one where you
No,
saw.
the one where we went into like the.
It's where you saw possible futures for yourself, and you had to decide which.
At the very end, yeah.
Yeah, not the portals where you got the hit.
The mirrors?
No, it was definitely that way of the path. Because I remember after that session, you told me that you weren't planning on giving me that item.
You know what? Out of the path. Leave. That one. See? You think if you do not know where you are going, any road will get you there? That's the portals.
No.
One you did where you saw these views was number 1. Time is a flat circle. Everything we have done or will do over and over again forever. This is where you got the mirror of the past with the time movement stick. But that's okay. The difference is in the portals you were together. To the stuff. Whereas you were separated in the time one. You may have had visions in the portal one too, but certainly saw potential futures. Anyway, I only know it because it's number 1. That was the whole point behind it. The very first one was Winter Shut.
Yes, going back
the point.
Chiavo would know that Sebastian was just teasing you. He wasn't actually asking when, where, and all of that stuff. He was more teasing you that he wants to know when you're going to die.
Wow, that's incredibly harsh, but
he wants to be there to collect the loot.
Yeah,
I want to be there to sit and drink tea or drink wine rather.
I know where you've been hiding all those scrolls.
Yeah.
But yes, you all had the same troubling dream. Following morning, your original intention was to teleport back. Do you still wish to continue?
I would actually like to do something before we go anywhere. I was planning on only ever casting Wish at the end of the day, but I'm feeling saucy, and I'd like to kiss it at the beginning of the day.
Last time you cast Wish, you summoned. You
sure that wasn't Wish. That wasn't Wish though. That was just a high level spell. Because Chiavo cast a high level spell, and he also got the radar thing on him.
But the last time you did it, it summoned druids upon you.
Yeah.
Do it again in Torrent's house.
I assumed I was staying in my own house.
Perhaps not in Sandringham.
That's so much better. Please continue with your grand plan.
I don't think Sebastian would. Like, I mean, first of all, he's cast that fortress spell before and nothing happened. I know you said it, you obviously forgot, but still, that in the actual words, that's
Yeah.
But also, there's like to say that every time we cast a high level spell, someone's going to come and assassinate us just does not seem realistic.
It's probably a good time and place to test it while on your own.
Yeah, I'd be fine. Anyways,
you take any precautions?
I'm gonna cast.
Order kindness credits.
Sure. I'll have all of those things up around the house.
Okay.
All of the benefits,
and I will to not bring the druids.
Sure. I will cast Wish in my bedroom, whilst my little embryo grows on my bed, and I in front of Sebastian will appear a human-sized doll that has it's made out of cloth and stuff like that, and it's got armor and it's got like blue skin and stuff like that. And then as like this magic and wisps of magic are like floating around Sebastian, they all like pile drive into the body as I cast Create Magen. And then that doll will spring to life. Cool. I now have my personal guard.
Okay. And what are you doing with that guard?
Well, I will put a picture in chat so you guys can see what it looks like. I will go downstairs with said guard and have breakfast as it stands next to me on guard. And I will not care to explain to my parents unless they ask.
I think you need to choose.
Yes, I did. I chose the warrior one. It's the Demos, yes.
What you will lose. What?
Yes.
Oh,
I
no.
sure do.
Or you
Is it
fix.
permanent?
Yeah, it's permanent.
Or is it until like
You technically
the
can
door
wish it away.
disappears? Okay,
That would
that's fine.
using wish. Okay,
I'm good.
there he is. Is you? But my point is, are you leaving him to guard your home? Bringing him with you?
No.
Okay,
No,
cool.
he's following me.
He's just with you.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
He's called Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Yes.
Okay, as Sebastian and Dimitri return to the house, ready to teleport off. What are you? Did you participate in an entire conversation from a different house? That's what just happened. You did. Okay, great. Cool. Anyway, well, assume Sebastian came back in the morning, grabbed breakfast, went off, made Dimitri, had a second breakfast with him, and then came back. Cool. Just because otherwise it's really confusing. Yeah. There you are. Sandringham, Beldania, all of that. Theme tune and all. In Torren's house. Have we? And we had a dream, and you know what? We ran out of time.
Oh.
Well, that is where we will end.
An ominous dream.
Bastian's Magen and ominous dream. Yeah, sorry, I've just little added things have just prevented us from getting back to the. And I don't trust myself to.
Yay!
What the-
What just happened?
Joe became balloons.
I don't.
We don't know
literally
why.
touched Nothing.
That was so good.
That was
We'll never know why. I said we'll end, and you just said balloons.
No, but I didn't touch anything.
Oh,
My
that
hands
was
weren't even on
amazing.
any
It was
devices.
amazing. Like voice activated balloonification. I'm going to bring us the timeless tradition of MVPs. Sorry to end on a sort of weird note, but I just sort of realized we've not got any time left.
Oh yeah, it is 11:30.
Well, yeah, and if I try and do this way of the path, we're going to get out of it at like 12:05,
Oh, yeah.
and then we'll have to do MVPs, and then we'll inevitably talk afterwards.
Mhm.
Okay, MVPs. I come to. Gosh, I think that's where I. No, that's where I started. Never mind. Where did I finish? Jamal.
gonna have to give one to. It's not quite a hither. Got to go for the callback.
Oh yes, I mean it was only a minor error. It was just 23 lightning damage to Torin.
Yeah,
and it was not
it's
one that was
always great to
intentional,
call
but
back
it
to
was.
the hither.
It was
Yeah.
definitely a moment. Okay. Rico.
It was this. I don't know why it made me laugh so hard, but when Rosanna
Really?
was just like, really,
I knew that was coming.
she's just
It
like,
proper set you off.
it
It was great.
made me laugh. I don't know. I'm sorry.
And it was in the middle of such an epic moment as well. Like
It
you were
was,
doing all
and
this sort of
she,
like old school
She made
talk,
such
you know,
a
like
poignant speech.
yeah, proper
just like, how
fantasy
dare you.
speech. How dare you? And then you went, really?
Do you think? Do you think? What did you say? Like,
Because
do
she
you
was-
think that?
Listen, I was quite dumbfounded. She was a druid behaving in this way.
She wasn't a druid.
Yeah. I mean, she was with the other druids, and she was.
Yes.
Rosanna was just confused.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
but have some manners.
It was confused worthy.
But it was funny.
It
It
was
was funny.
great.
That was my MVP.
Joe.
Early on, the Josh as Sebastian, of course, punishing Rosanna for rolling a 5 on Arcana. Like there was a whole, I don't know if that was like in your head or not, but there was like a whole moment there where you're always berating people for like not understanding as much as you understand. But it was like right after there's like, okay, let's all see how much the spellcasters understood of what just happened with this pulse of energy. And Rosanna got a 5, and then it was just like the next 20 minutes of like, oh, do you understand? I don't think you understand my magic.
Yeah, it was a great line as well, where Rosanna was like, "I don't think you know how much of the world I attest to," and you went, "The world, sure, the weave, I did enjoy that. That was pretty cool, Bruno.
I like that, and that's the reason she was taking the robe with her. She wanted to rub it in his face a little bit before she gave it to him. I really enjoyed the moral dilemma between like killing or keeping this enemy. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed that everybody sort of had a little pitch.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt mocked. I was like, I've got a recurring villain, and they've murdered it, but now they're thinking about not murdering it and having it as a recurring stick in my face that my recurring villain is now useless. It was like, I really did feel mocked. It was great.
Well, my perspective was very different. I felt like it
course.
was very intense, and that we really had to make a tough decision.
I like that.
So I really enjoyed that. That was for me. That was mine.
It was a moral dilemma born out of almost nothing, really. And it became really interesting. I agree with you. I wasn't saying that it was less because I felt mocked, but I did feel mocked.
I just don't want it to feel mocked, man. I loved it.
Gosh.
Yeah, mine is kind of the same. I'm quite glad that we got the interactions when we didn't have much to spend on it. Like I think if we did, like if it was after a long rest or something like that, maybe Joe wouldn't had used Feeble Mind because we would have had other things to counteract their attack. So the fact that that happened, that then led to this like tension within the group of this moral dilemma. I guess my MVP is like to just the randomness of the game. that these things happen.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd planned on her being a recurring villain. So any time that you guys cast an 8th or 9th spell, she was going to appear. That is the first time you would fight her because I didn't want her to be recurring too early because it would be too much of a problem. Although she did once watch when you fought other druids. You counted, you had that encounter with the druids. I think it was Alessio who was there at the time. But yes, and then you guys fought those druids and she watched. But yeah, I was sort of gutted that this because I like recurring villains. I think they're cool. And she was going to sort of mock you, and she was going to show you that she could power word kill you, but not use it on somebody who had less than 100 hit points. And then come back, and then obviously the threat next time is, oh my god, some of us don't have 100 HP. What are we going to do? How are we going to deal with her? You know, we've got to keep a counter spell. I've got to keep in range, and then she's going to fly. Like I wanted that tension to be there, and obviously now she just doesn't exist. But at the same time, it did create a really interesting moment. And also I thought we're going to give you the robe of the Archmage, the staff of power, which is why I changed it, because you've had too many of those. And just like she had these really cool items that you could then use in the final battles. So yeah, it was really cool that you guys took her out with something that almost anything else and she could still have got away, but to prevent her from being able to cast spells was just stuck, right? Yeah, so I thought it was really cool. I also really enjoyed during the dream moment. Bruno wrote, "I knew we should have blasted her," and then went, "I take it back. We should have saved her." And I was called back to a silly little kobold in Curse of Strahd called Ack. We should have. I take it, Ack. So it gave me multiple levels of amusement. Torrent's depiction of the stupid of her when she was feeble-minded, I was absolutely mind-boggling, and everybody just sort of sat there and went, what was that? There was also a wonderful moment where, I can't remember what it was, but suddenly Bruno decided he was going to become a wild elf, which it really blew my mind at the beginning of the combat. But yeah, I also really enjoyed Joe using his first action in the combat with the lieutenant of the big boss to cast tongues. That was pretty funky and very in character. Also, I don't understand how you're always at the top of the initiative order. Doesn't make any sense. You don't have advantage. You've not got a higher dex than at least 3 other people. I know you get half proficiency, but it just doesn't make any sense. Like, surely, like,
Stupid rolls.
either Rosanna, who has advantage, I think, maybe, or doesn't anymore, but used to.
Oh, Torin has advantage.
Yeah, and Torin has advantage and a high dex. Like, one of them should roll higher at some point, right? But no, it's always Hennig. So I really like that you were just like, well, I'm going to talk to them. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, they hadn't had a chance to attack yet, and I had not known for sure if there was danger in what was happening or not. So
yeah, no, absolutely fair. We started off this episode so innocuously with 2 mushrooms cooking a crab. There's a thought.
Yeah.
they'll get better. They'll get
But
better.
that is where we're going to end. If you guys would like to say goodbye,
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
we shall see you soon.